I used to think a wedding night was nothing more than lying down beside your partner and falling asleep. That was my innocent belief, the kind of naive thought only an 18-year-old could have. But life has a way of shattering innocence. I didn't choose this marriage. My stepmother pushed me into it, insisting it was the only way to protect our family. I cried, I pleaded, but her words wrapped around me like chains. On my wedding day, I felt like a prisoner being led away from her own life. That night, when the celebration ended, I sat in my new room alone. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. My heart pounded so loud it echoed in my ears. I was just a girl, forced to play the role of a wife I didn't understand. The door creaked open. He walked in slowly, his footsteps heavy against the silence. I froze, clutching my dress. He wasn't cruel. He wasn't angry. But he was still a man, and I was a frightened girl. He turned off the light, and the room fell into shadows, lit only by the pale glow of the moon. Every step he took toward me made my chest tighten. When he reached for me, his hand brushed against my chest and he began to tug at my dress. Panic surged through me. My body moved before my mind caught up. I shoved him away and slapped him hard across the face. The sound cracked through the stillness. For a moment, everything stopped. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't lunge forward. He just stood there, frozen, staring at me with something unreadable in his eyes. And then, without a word, he turned, opened the door and walked out. That was my wedding night. No love, no tenderness, only fear, shock, and silence. The next morning, I braced myself for anger. I expected shouting, accusations, maybe even punishment. But none of that came. Instead, he kept his distance. He slept on the sofa, while I locked myself inside the bedroom. We ate at the same table like strangers, our conversations barely more than a handful of words. But every now and then, I'd catch him looking at me. Not with fury. Not even with frustration. But with questions like he was trying to understand me. Weeks passed like that. And then one morning, I woke up to a strange smell. The smell of pancakes. I walked into the kitchen, and there he was, flipping them with quiet focus. "I thought you might be hungry," he said, not even meeting my eyes. It startled me. No man had ever cooked for me. I sat down, watching him, trying to figure out what kind of husband makes pancakes instead of demands. Another night, I fell sick. Fever gripped me, and I lay shivering beneath the blankets. The door creaked open. He stepped inside, carrying medicine and a glass of water. His hand brushed my forehead, and his voice dropped into a whisper. "You're burning up." He sat beside me until I drifted into sleep. And when I woke, he was gone, but the medicine and water were still there. That was the first time it hit me. Maybe he wasn't my enemy. As days turned into weeks, the ice between us slowly began to crack. One evening, I found him on the porch, staring at the sunset, his shoulders heavy with a weight I couldn't name. Gathering courage, I sat beside him. "I'm sorry," I whispered. He turned, surprised. "For what?" "For that night. For treating you like a stranger." My voice broke. Tears filled my eyes. He was silent for a long moment. And then, to my shock, his eyes welled up too. "I never wanted to hurt you," he said, his voice shaking. "I promised myself I'd never be like the men who take what isn't given. That night, I thought I'd already failed you." His words shattered me. All this time, I thought his distance meant he didn't care. But the truth was, he cared too much. From then on, things shifted. We still lived apart, but the silence between us wasn't sharp anymore. He asked how my day was. I brought him tea late at night. Little threads of connection began weaving between us. One evening, I found him asleep on the sofa. His face was peaceful, his arm dangling loosely off the edge. Something inside me softened. I didn't wake him, I just stood there, watching, realizing for the first time that maybe I wanted to be near him. And then came the night that changed everything. The rain fell hard against the roof. I couldn't sleep. Restlessness tugged at me until I found myself in the living room. He was there, reading by the dim glow of a lamp. He looked up when I entered. "Can't sleep?" he asked softly. I shook my head. My legs moved on their own, carrying me closer, until I sat gently on his lap. He froze, his body tense, like he didn't dare move. And then slowly his arms came around me, not forceful, but protective, like a shield meant to keep me safe. I buried my face in his chest, feeling the steady beat of his heart. For the first time, my racing heartbeat wasn't from fear. It was from warmth. I lifted my head. His eyes locked on mine, silently asking for permission. And then, trembling but certain, I kissed him. That night, the storm outside raged, but inside, there was only calm, the calm of two broken souls finally finding each other. From then on, our lives changed. We ate together. We laughed together. The house filled with something it had never known before, love. Looking back now, I realize love didn't come to us in grand gestures. It came in patience, in kindness, in silence that slowly turned into words. It came on a rainy night, when two people finally chose each other. Marriage, I learned, is not about force. It's not about taking. It's about waiting. About protecting. About giving. I was 18, young and terrified. But he taught me that love is patient. Love is gentle. Love knocks on your door, but it never breaks it down. And that's why to this day, when it rains, I smile. Because rain reminds me of the night I stopped being afraid and finally let myself fall in love. Now let me ask you, do you believe love can grow out of patience and silence, even when it begins with fear? Tell me your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves stories of redemption, and subscribe for more tales that touch the heart.